In the heart of New York City, within the towering confines of a high-rise building, Maddie's birthday celebration unfolded like a twisted tale from the depths of the abyss. The apartment pulsed with the rhythm of revelry, the air thick with laughter, music, and the scent of spilled alcohol. Among the guests were Libby and her boyfriend Kyle, their expressions a mix of forced smiles and growing unease as they navigated the chaotic sea of partygoers. Maddie, the vivacious hostess, moved with an air of jubilation, though a darkness lurked behind her eyes, obscured by the veil of celebration. As the night wore on, Maddie's jubilant facade began to crack, revealing the depths of her inner turmoil. Fueled by alcohol and buried anxieties, she retreated to the sanctuary of her bedroom, locking herself away with a bottle of vodka. Outside, the mood grew tense as her friends exchanged worried glances, their attempts to intervene met with stubborn resistance. Alone in her room, Maddie sought solace in the digital realm, turning to her phone for distraction. She opened her YouTube app, but what she found was far from comforting. A bizarre video titled "Forbidden Digital Demon Summoning" was on her home page. She was not subscribed to the channel, HellTube, nor had she ever looked up content of this nature. What was the algorithm thinking suggesting such a video? But it beckoned to her to watch, its ominous title a harbinger of the darkness that lay within. She clicked the video. As Maddie watched, transfixed, the air grew heavy with malevolence, the shadows in her room seeming to dance. And then, in a horrifying twist, the demon on the screen turned to give her a sinister look. It seemed not to be simply looking at the camera, but to be looking right at her. The video began to zoom in, giving the illusion the demon was now much closer. But it was no illusion. Maddie watched in horror. Emerging from the phone screen, the demon broke free from its digital prison, its monstrous form emerging into the physical realm with a guttural roar. Maddie's screams were muffled by her door and the loud music of her party, as the demon descended upon her, its claws tearing through flesh and bone with savage precision. Outside her door, her friends were oblivious to the horrors unfolding within, their laughter and chatter masking the chaos that threatened to consume them all. When they finally gathered outside Maddie's door, their attempts to coax her out were met with silence. And then, with a slow, deliberate motion, the door creaked open, revealing a sight that would haunt them forever. Maddie stood before them, a bloody horrific sight as her once bright eyes now vacant and hollow, her lips curled into a sinister grin. With a primal roar, Maddie transformed before their eyes, her body contorting and warping into a grotesque parody of humanity. In a frenzy of violence, with the demonic venom of her vicious bites and razor-like scratches, she attacked her friends, her once familiar features twisted into a visage of pure terror. One by one, infected with the venom, her friends were turned into demons. And those demons quickly turned others into demons. As chaos erupted around them, Libby and Kyle fought to escape the nightmare apartment that had engulfed them. With no clear path to safety, they clung to each other, their hopes of survival dwindling with each passing moment. But where could they go? They needed to get outside, to find others that could save them. Thinking it was their fastest way to freedom, they attempted to flee to the roof. However, as they made their way up the stairs, they were met with a barricade of demons, their path blocked by the very creatures they had once called friends. In a desperate bid for survival, Libby and Kyle fought back, but their efforts were futile against the overwhelming evil that surrounded them. In the chaos that ensued, Kyle was bitten by Maddie, his screams of agony echoing through the stairwell as the demon's venom coursed through his veins. Libby watched in horror as her beloved transformed before her eyes, his humanity stripped away by the insatiable hunger of the beast within. With a heavy heart, she realized that there was no escaping. In a final act of desperation, she fled into the ventilation shaft, seeking refuge from the horrors that lurked outside. As she crawled deeper into the darkness, her mind reeled with despair, the weight of her guilt crushing her spirit. Suddenly her arm began to burn as if it was on fire. Squinting her eyes and looking down, with the little light left in the shaft, she saw the cause. A nasty gash in her arm, caused by the scratches of one of the demons. It burned and festered with the acidic demon venom. She now knew that her fate was sealed, that she too would soon succumb to the darkness that had consumed Maddie, Kyle, and her friends. As she huddled in the cold embrace of the ventilation shaft, the realization washed over her like a wave of despair. There was no hope, no salvation, only an eternity of demonic darkness. And her humanity lost. To the void.